Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to our July 8th, 2021 meeting of the Camden County Board of Education and ask if there is any open session agenda changes. Seeing none, ask if there's a motion to approve the agenda for July 8th, 2021. Motion by Mr. Heath to approve the July 8th, 2021 meeting of the Camden County Board of Education. Seconded by Dr. Banks. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Ask everyone if you would please represent a moment of silence. Thank you for your consideration. Dr. Farrell, has anyone signed up for public comment?
No, sir.
Everyone could please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Open session to appear.
No one has requested to appear.
Consent agenda.
Hold on 1 second. Before you take a motion to approve the minutes on the consent agenda, I want to make sure we give all credit to our students that is due to our students. And there was a mistake in our minutes from last month's meeting that read of the 29 Camden Early College High School graduates, 18 graduated with a degree from COA. Those numbers actually were 43 Camden Early College High School graduates, and 29 of those students received a degree from COA at the same time as their high school diploma. So we just wanted to correct that.
Motion by Mr. Purcell to approve the consent agenda with the approval of the minutes for June 10th, 2021 as amended. Seconded by Dr. Banks. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Information updates, child nutrition, food, and supply bids. Larry Lawrence, Chief Operations Officer.
Good evening.
Good evening.
In your package, you should have got our note about rolling over the bidding prices for our food products, milk, bread, and our grocery goods. We're asking to roll them over to last year's prices. We had to move the bread in with Cisco to take a little bit of a savings, and Pepsi wanted to go up 4%. So after talking to Sally and everybody, that was acceptable. So as it stands, we would like to just roll these over for the 21-22 school year if we could. Unless there's any questions. Okay.
My recommendation would be that you approve the child nutrition, food, and supply bids as presented by Mr. Lawrence.
Motion by Ms. Idle to accept the superintendent's recommendation to accept the child nutrition, food, and supply bids as presented by Mr. Lawrence. Seconded by Mr. Heath. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Lane, Chief Student Services Officer, to discuss the social, emotional learning, and mental health plan for Camden County Schools.
Okay, the Board of Education has to, or is supposed to pass a support for this training program that we're going to have for the teachers. All personnel in the school district have to be trained. That's bus drivers, anybody that comes in contact with a child has to be trained in this set of requirements. And then specialized instructional support personnel, such as school psychologists, guidance counselors, social worker, they have another level of training that they have to participate in. The components of the plan are youth mental health, suicide prevention, substance abuse, dating violence, child sexual abuse, and sex trafficking prevention. For youth mental health, what we would need to do is pick a program or a method to train teachers, to train personnel. And after doing some research, I tried to find as much as I could that would be cost effective. And so far, everything I have found does not have a cost to it. So the programs that we will be able to access are free. Another thing I wanted to try to accomplish was to find programs that the teachers could do on their own time. So it would be a lot of online training, and then we could do backup sessions with professional development in groups, but for the major part of it, allow the teachers to do it at their own pace. So it'd be self-paced online training. There's, for the youth mental health, there is a mental health literacy course for teachers and school staff. It's self-paced, it's online, and it's 3 modules. For suicide prevention, there are 2. Act on Facts, it's 2 hours and self-paced. And then the Jason Foundation, which is 2 hours and self-paced as well. And we are also involved with Sandy Hook Promise through the SSARS program. And Sandy Hook has a plethora of videos and things that we can use for our training as well. So that's another really good source for our staff members. The next one, for substance abuse, there are several online adolescent webinar series that we can tap into. There's something called a RISE training guide. You go to the website and then it takes you to specific training options for substance abuse. Teenage dating violence, the exact same thing. You can go online. It takes you directly to the dating violence guides, and then we can get the training through that. And then child sexual abuse prevention, we have had training on over and over and over again over the years. And I think one was called Out of the Darkness. Was that it? Wasn't it something Out of the Darkness? I think it was something like that. But anyway, we had that training. That was an all-day session. Sex trafficking, we have not had any training in. However, there is an excellent program, and it's called SOAR, and it's for school-based personnel, and it's Stop, Observe, Ask, and Respond is what SOAR stands for. So all of these, to the best of my knowledge, can be accessed online and self-paced. So it will not take time from teachers in the classroom and so forth. And this addresses policy SHLT 003. Any questions? For the social emotional piece that I looked into, it's teaching kids things like being teammates, how to be kind, how to work with in your group and accept criticism and that sort of thing, how to kindly give criticism. So there's a lot of different components to social emotional learning, but it's to help children understand how to navigate as good citizens, basically.
So help me understand. This is in addition to teachers teachers and all staff that interact with children, not only to recognize social and emotional.
That's right. That is exactly what it is. It's to be able to recognize, for example, with dating violence. If you know if a high school teacher knows a couple is dating, and suddenly one of the partners comes in and there's bruising, or that person becomes very quiet, grades start dropping. There are signs that you look for And then that child then can be referred to the guidance counselor so we can possibly get to the bottom of it. Same kind of thing with substance abuse. There are signs that you see when a child becomes involved with drugs and alcohol. And the teachers will then know those signs so that they are able to, in their classroom, or a bus driver may know in the morning, because sometimes kids, before they ever go to school, will try to get high. And a bus driver may be able to recognize that then, and then can report it to the principal of the school, and further steps can be taken. This also involves us getting a partnership with a local organization such as Crisis Prevention, which we have worked with for years. And I've already talked to Mr. Ham, and he's more than willing to have an MOU with us for that. Plus, we already have an MOU with Getting Ready. If we can ever get our building ready for them, then they can move in. But we have all the components set for that, and that MOU has been approved already. So we've got some outside sources that we're partnering with. And then they suggest also the Sheriff's Department or any other organizations that you have. Trillium would be another good source to use. So it's any organizations that might have professionals that can come in and help to guide our staff members in recognizing and implementing things that will help our children be successful citizens.
So is this more like an add-on training to some of what's already been kind of come down the pipeline recently in a few years past about training for mental health?
This is making it more binding.
More binding, and it sounds like it's broader as far as personnel that is trained.
Make it more so that, yes, we've been told for years that, yes, we need training in this, this, and this, but people, school districts have been doing it at their own pace. So they passed this policy so that everybody is committed to providing 6 hours the first year, and then every year thereafter, 2 years of refresher training. And then we have to, in 2025, we have to give a report to the state board on the statistics and so forth that go along with our training, what training we've used, how it has shaped our county, if we have maybe less incidences of certain crimes or whatever. So it's just a more binding way to have to take care of these particular areas. For example, I'm an instructor for youth mental health first aid, and we've had training in the county for that. That's an approved program that we could use. And the reason why I haven't said a lot about that with this is because I really would like for us to help the teachers and other personnel to do this self-paced on their time, rather than trying to tie up days with professional development. Plus the manual's $40 a piece, and every person has to have a manual, so it can be expensive. So.
Is there a way that we could get the PowerPoint slide that you sent with the links active?
Oh, that thing that I sent, yes, I'll get that to you. Because I sent it to you, I scanned it and sent it to you. I'll send you the link to it.
Completing this training add or change anybody becoming a mandatory reporter for anything? Does it put any additional burden on people who are trained, but right now they don't have a duty to report? It's not creating any more, putting extra pressure on people who may not, teachers and social workers, administrators, you're really involved with it, but bus drivers, not so much. Cafeteria workers, not, they see them, but they don't see them as in-depth and as detailed as the teachers and the administrators. Is it putting any additional burden on people down the line that now have to?
I haven't seen anything, but I don't want to say it doesn't. I haven't seen anything about additional reporting responsibilities. So far as I know, the law still maintains that it is the professionals, the teachers, the principals, the administrator, anybody that has a professional teaching license, because that's what they can revoke if you do not do what you're supposed to do. So as far as I know, I haven't seen anything on bus drivers or cafeteria workers.
table for 30-day review. So I'd like to look at some of the links and the resources.
Dr. Banks is making a motion to table social emotional learning and mental health plan as presented by Ms. Lang this evening. 30 days our next meeting, next meeting. Next meeting.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Purcell. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries, so we will table it until our next meeting
Thank you.
for further review. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, Dr. Farrell's superintendent's recommendation from closed session.
It is my recommendation that you approve the personnel report as presented by Ms. Anderson in closed session.
Motion by Dr. Banks to accept the superintendent's recommendation for personnel as presented by Ms. Anderson in closed session. Seconded by Ms. Adlet. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. I'm gonna rewind a little bit back in our agenda, back to the board spotlight. I was hoping to give in time for, are they,
I did speak with Mr. Stefanski, and because of the weather, they opted that they could not come at this time, and I told them that I would be in contact with him next week.
okay. So I'm gonna read the little excerpt for his spotlight, because that's a pretty good story, for everyone, and Ms. Byron, would you give us 50? So tonight, we would have been spotlighting Maximilian Shapinsky. And last year at Grandy Primary School, 8-year-old Max was a second grade student in Miss Parker's class. And Max's mother recently shared with Mr. Lazar and Miss Byram that one afternoon in January of 2021, Max and his little brother, Nicodem, were in the room playing. Nicodem, who was almost 3 years old at the time, was playing with small toy figures and put one in his mouth. Max was playing video games when he suddenly realized Nicodem had started to choke. Max reacted very fast. He bent Nico over forward and used back blows while at the same time calling out for help from his mother. When Mom got in the room, Max had everything under control. Nico who had spit out the toy, was safe but scared, although he was too young to fully understand what had actually happened. Through it all, Max remained calm. Since then, Max has been on high alert where Nico was concerned. Every time Nico just coughs, Max is right next to him. This is an event which will likely stay with Max for a long time, and there is no doubt that when Nico grows up and hears the story, he will forever be grateful to his brother, Max, for saving his life. Max's parents were so full of pride and so grateful for Max's fast actions that they shared the story with Mr. Lazar and Miss Byram. Mr. Lazar and Miss Byram knew Max and his family will be leaving Camden for the upcoming school year to move to Poland. He will return to Camden in time to enroll in the fourth grade. This is why it is important to recognize Max's heroic actions at this time. I will also note that Max has received the Medal of Merit from the Boy Scouts of America for outstanding service in implementing scouting skills and ideals in recognition of Max's exceptional character and outstanding act of service. And so tonight, the Camden County Board of Education would have presented this spotlight certificate for his outstanding courage and quick actions to keep his brother safe. And we would like to say you're a hero and we're very proud of you. So we would have presented that to him this evening. You can give those to him. Thank you.
Thank you.
Under announcements, there will be an administrative retreat conducted by Dr. Farrell and his staff on August 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Convocation this year will be Friday, August 20th and schedule will be forthcoming to us with further details. Future conference date for North Carolina School Board Association Annual Conference will be Thursday, November the 11th through Saturday, November 13th. Anybody have any other announcements they would like to add? Seeing none, I entertain a motion that we recess open session to return to closed session. Motion by Dr. Banks that we recess open session to return to close, seconded by Ms. Adlet. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carried. We're returning to closed session after a short recess. Thank you all for coming. Please travel safe. Now, there'll be no further action in open session.